Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach podcast. I'm Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach, and today we're going to be deep diving into the world of blood sugar. Now, we've done lots of episodes on sugar, blood sugar, what's it going to matter, and how it makes a difference in our life. Today we're going to deep dive into what is the technical aspect of it, how we can create little hacks to maintain it, and what our guest, Neha Sahaya, tells her clients. So Neha, welcome to the Habit Coach podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm Neha Sahaya, clinical nutritionist and wellness consultant. And I'm super excited to talk about this topic because I'm obsessed with it.
So Neha and I met for lunch and we were discussing this and I was like, Neha, the passion with which you're talking about blood sugar and all, we have to do a podcast on this. So this is why this entire episode is taking place. So Neha, where did your obsession with blood sugar start from?
You know what? I was just wondering why certain people don't lose weight, and we are taught in our nutrition school calorie in, calories out, calorie deficit. This is what we are learned, macros, calorie deficit. But all molecules of food are not made identical. I'll make it simple. What I mean out of it is with an example. For example, you take refined sugar and you take coconut sugar, okay? The nutritive value in refined sugar and coconut sugar is very little. What is most important is the glucose and the fructose in it. That may also vary very little. So it will spike your blood sugar levels. Insulin will be released, And I realized that with time, it's so important to concentrate on this concept because I think our generation has way too much comorbidities. And if not that, something or the other with insulin resistance, pre-diabetes, diabetic, and it's happening to even normal healthy people. Believing they're eating within calorie deficit, they are working out. So where things are going wrong. So I just started reading more about it. And I think since when I was studying clinical nutrition as well, I was obsessed with the topic of diabetes. So I just dived into this whole thing. And I can't tell you, my obsession is a little too much, I think. But it's such a fun topic and I hope I can cover a lot in it.
So tell me, when you were doing your nutrition course, right? At that point of time, did they talk about blood sugar in the format of, health or weight loss or any of those things?
So no, it was more concentrated towards diabetes, insulin resistance because PCOS is growing. But there were no hacks. They're very standard hacks. And again, the whole topic comes back, lose weight, calorie deficit, calories in, out, macros. But nobody tells you how the right way it is. You go to a doctor, and I have nothing against doctors, but their first thing is, let's go on metformin and glycomed, Nobody will tell you, try food with myoinositol, and try something else, use these things. And there's so many women out there. I myself, I had PCOS in the past. You can't reverse PCOS, you can manage PCOS. So anyone selling the idea saying we can reverse your full PCOS is not really happening. It's like diabetes, it can only be managed, controlled, and taken care of, which you have to do your full life. It's very simple, to understand what blood sugar is. I'm going to make it very easy, okay? We think sugar is the only thing that raises the blood sugar levels, okay? And we name sugar as carbohydrate, but carbohydrate has to be divided further. So what is carbohydrate divided into? Starch, sugar, and fiber, okay? Let me make it easy. Starch gets converted to glucose, which is basically make it easier, like potatoes, beetroot, and all. Those are starchy food, okay? Millets are starchy food, okay? Your grains can be starchy food.
So your grains, your roots are typically starchy?
Yes, they are starchy food and they get converted, broken down in your body into glucose. Then we have something called sugar. Okay, now sugar can be your sugar which you consume, actual
like
sugar.
Table sugar.
It could be your fruits or basically, let's make it even more simple, anything that tastes sweet, okay, which is broken down into glucose and fructose, okay. Then we have fiber, which doesn't get broken down and remains as fiber. So basically, these are your three basic carbohydrates which your body will consume, and each one reacts differently with our body.
Okay.
Now, why is blood glucose levels a topic today also? I'll explain it again. We are eating way too much processed food, okay? Now, let me explain you. When you eat anything with fiber, okay? So, most plant-based food has fiber in it, right? Because that's how plants were designed. Sugar and fiber. So when it was designed like that, our blood sugar levels used to not rise because when you eat fiber, it creates a mesh in your small intestine. Once it creates that kind of mesh, your blood sugar levels go up very slowly. But in packaged processed food, that to increase the shelf life, the fiber has been removed. So what do you have? Sugar and starch.
Correct.
Both have glucose, both have fructose. One has fructose, sorry. So obviously your blood sugar levels have started to rise more and more. We only concentrate on the label, on the calories, which the brand wants you to see also. So you'll be 100 calories. Fabulous. Let's pick this up. but we do not concentrate on the other factors where how much sugars and carbs are there. Okay, and there's usually no fiber in processed packaged food. You take a simple strawberry and put it in the fridge. Next day you remove the strawberry, you see it's mushy, right? Because the fiber is broken down, but it's still there. But the shelf life is reduced drastically. So the best way to increase shelf life is to remove the fiber out of a product.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this is what has started to happen to our industry. And we are made to believe if it's vegan, gluten-free, it is healthy.
Correct.
Okay. I don't want to say the brand name, but cereals, for example, are the perfect example of something which is promoted as low-calorie, healthy, one of the best breakfast options. People think it's convenient, so obviously it's especially more popular in the western part of the world. But I think today India is also really picking up into packaged processed food. If you ever turn the package and try to read the label, the first 5 ingredients are 5 different names of sugar. Okay? Packaged in different languages, different ways, which a layman cannot obviously understand. If you eat that and go out, you will feel very good because you had something sweet for a very momentary point of time. And your blood sugar levels will rise, insulin will be produced, and then it will be crashed very quickly. And that's why you're hungry again within 1 hour or 2 hours. From calorie deficit perspective, yes, you only ate 100 calories. But then you're again hungry in 2 hours.
Correct.
Or even less than 2 hours. Because you've eaten something that has caused a very high blood sugar level to rise. Now you need to understand this concept. When your blood sugar levels rise, pancreas releases a hormone called insulin. Obviously to take it from the blood circulating. Now it can be stored in your liver where it's meant to be and then converts into glycogen, which is the stored form of glucose. Next, it is the muscles. Okay. The remaining what's roaming freely and happily gets converted only into one, fat. Okay. Which obviously we know will make you gain weight. This is with glucose. Okay. Now, as I said, all packaged, processed food or mainly all sweet foods have fructose in it.
Right.
Now, fructose doesn't work that way at all. It cannot be broken down by the body. So it only converts into one thing, fat. So it's very simple. Why this concept is growing and is becoming so excitingly interesting is because our fructose has increased, glucose has increased. That's the way it's done. So when you take a low-fat dish, yes, these two are the highest in it, unfortunately. Because to make it palatable, the fat is removed. And all this is added more. So more starch is added, more other stabilizers are added, and the fiber is removed.
Correct.
So fat and fiber, both that stabilize your blood sugar levels, are both removed. So again, blood sugar levels are rising. The product may be 50 calories. But what about the blood sugar levels is rising and crashing inside and creating the havoc in your body? So isn't this concept so exciting? Or probably, I don't know, it's for me. It's so mind-boggling that we are such misinformation out there. And unfortunately, till you don't dive into proper clinical nutrition. So when I started, I had done normal nutrition. I realized everyone is suffering from something. Normal nutrition not going to work. I have to get into clinical. So with all these health issues, I've started to realize that if you can manage your blood sugar levels well, you sleep better, you have less food cravings, you have less brain fog, you have, trust me, when I tell you this, unlimited energy.
Yeah.
Okay. Today, uric acid is linked to blood sugar levels. You know, it's not nothing got to do with kidney, which was the previous information in our books. So that has changed. Your cholesterol, triglycerides, you name it. And forget PCOS, diabetes, that was an assumed thing, insulin resistant. So these are the concepts, all can be taken care of and you can just be a healthy human.
Correct.
So that's what I always tell my clients. There's no feeling than waking up in the morning and going through a day without feeling sleepy and have that unlimited energy. I can't tell you because I experience it and I love it. And there are hacks to it. There are ways to do this. And it can be very well managed by a layman as well. But it's all about putting in that effort to manage your blood sugar levels.
Getting rid of all the misinformation that we have, right? Like you said, fructose. Many people say, but it's fruits, so it must be healthy. It's natural sugar, it must be healthy. So we don't realize what it is that we're putting in our body. Also, your table sugar, your crystalline sugar, is the only place where glucose and fructose is mixed 50-50, right?
Exactly.
There's no other naturally occurring 50-50.
So I remember agave had become really popular in the past, and people said that let's substitute agave, and obviously whenever someone wants to promote a product, some of the research papers are always in that favor of it only.
Correct.
Evidence-based and it's all that. But the reason why when you consume agave it doesn't come in your glucose monitor because it has more fructose than glucose in it.
Correct.
And fructose cannot be detected by any machine. Okay, so whenever you have anything sweet and goes up, you should know that whatever spike it has, probably a higher spike, because fructose has not been calculated by the machine at all.
Yeah.
Because again, fructose can't be broken down. It converts into fat directly. So no glucose monitor, no blood test can actually monitor how much is fructose. Your HbA1c is also can't do it.
Yeah.
So fructose is a hidden criminal in your body which you can't figure. And by the time you figure, you're already a diabetic person.
Correct. When people say I'm going on this fruit juice cleanse and all, I bash my head against the wall saying that, what are you doing to your body? Do you realize that you're not... So the fructose gets broken down in your liver typically, right?
Fructose is not broken down.
It gets processed in your liver.
Yeah, but in the end, it only gets converted to fat.
Correct.
It's
but
not
the processing
really...
takes place in the liver. So
everything has to get placed in the liver,
which is why
but
there's
it's
a
very
strain,
minor level that's happening. It just gets converted to fat. It doesn't get stored anywhere in your body. So that's a problem.
Correct. So the strain that you put your liver through during that period, it's crazy.
Of course, because the thing is, see, when you have a glass of orange juice, you're just drinking sugar. It has 25 grams, probably a 300 ml glass of orange juice has almost 25 grams of sugar.
Correct.
And people assume it's great because it's orange juice, it has nutritive value. Firstly, it has no fiber. Again, why? Because when you juice something, the fiber is gone. And fiber is your mesh in your intestine to make sure your blood sugar levels are stable. So you have removed the most important thing from a fruit and then you're drinking that. And over a period of time, our fruits, because they're modified, I don't know what all is done to them. That's a whole different topic to talk about. The fiber anyways in our fruit has reduced. So we're already high in more fructose and sugar than we were back in the days, what our grandparents ate. So the thing is, you're only drinking liquid. It's like having a Coke only. It's as good as that.
I was reading a very nice article about the apples that you eat are not the apples that your grandparents ate, right? Like I remember as a kid, I hated apples because they tasted like crap.
Yeah.
But now we got honey crisp apples, right? We got those Chinese apples. They're so sweet that they're almost like a dessert in themselves.
Exactly, because they're high on fructose and sugar both right
Correct.
now. You don't even know if they've been injected before coming to you. You know how it is in today's world. You don't know what you're eating is actual food or not. So what happens, why is this a problem also? Let's talk about when your blood sugar level rises. Why is it a problem?
What happens, yeah.
Because obviously pancreas release insulin. But with this constant fluctuation in your blood sugar levels where excessive insulin is produced, we go through our body through a process called free radicals, okay? Free radicals are not good to have because they everyone gets few free radicals which can be managed by the body. But when you keep having these glucose spikes, you produce way too much, which affects your entire body, your organs. Your body goes in a state called oxidative stress. And then there's another process called glycation that happens, where your cells are damaged. So these are the three processes happen when you keep spiking your blood sugar levels up, down, up, down, up, down. It is a silent killer because sometimes you'll notice that you have a slight swelling on your hand and your body, or you worked on the soreness and we're like, kuch nahi, let's put an ice pack. But internally, things are getting damaged and not getting healed.
Correct.
Because you're having too much glucose spike in your body. So if you can try to stabilize that, and all these three things will lead to inflammation. And we know inflammation is cause of all health issues today. So we have to manage your blood sugar levels in order for these three things to get under control. So it's very, very important to manage blood sugar levels today.
We're going to take a quick break. See you on the other side. Welcome back. All right, let's jump into the conversation.
So what are some of the hacks? What are some of the tips and tricks that we can start doing to manage our blood sugar?
There are a lot of tricks, okay? And they're fun things to do. And I
we
think
have all the time in the world. Let's go through a laundry list.
Yes, and you can implement it. There's this scientist, Jesse, who came out with this whole theory, and I have tried it with a glucose monitor because let's face it, today they become quite cool to have. And you can actually figure what's going on with your body with them to some extent. So I did use one. And I obviously implemented her hacks. Mine were quite stable, but my husband's wasn't because he never listens to me. And I put on him as well. And I told him, you try the hacks because it's much more healthy as a person. So by nature, it would be stable. So my number one hack, and which is pretty easy for whether you're vegetarian, non-veg, anyone, is to start your meal with vegetables. Okay? Especially green, because I think that's easier to do as well. So you have a small bowl of vegetables, which again will be broken down by your saliva, go down in your intestine and create a mesh in your small intestine. So whatever you eat after that, the blood sugar levels will rise slowly because it's like a mesh, right? It'll control it. because you eat anything quickly gets digested, will raise your blood sugar level
So you
faster.
mean before, meaning like 5 minutes before, 10 minutes before, or with your meal just
So
as the first
preferably
thing?
at least 30 minutes before, because obviously
Okay.
food is not broken down so quickly if you're taking something which is high in fiber, right? It's not
Correct.
going to just get digested. It's not a fruit in the end of the day, right? So it creates a mesh. So the best way, if you're obviously trying to eat in a good quantity, which is not excessive, I think doing it just before eating will work wonders, right? Because it'll also start filling you up, So you do that as your first hack. Now, it could be, now someone will ask me like, if you're in a restaurant, how do you do it, But you get greens in all restaurants. You get like now broccoli serving on the side, and there is no substitute to vegetables. When people come with those tablets, with powders, it's a shortcut. It cannot create that mesh for you, for
Correct.
sure. So obviously you have to chew and make this a habit. It could be even 5-6 pieces of it, and it's fine. Okay, so now you have created that mesh. Next is your protein and fat that can come in, right? And after that, last should be your carbs, your starches, your sugars. Because again, now you've created a whole barrier. So obviously you have vegetables, then you have your protein, fat, which all take time to digest, right? Fats to raise your blood sugar levels really slowly.
Correct.
And last is your carbs and sugar. So the best time to eat actually a dessert is post a meal. Because if you have it as an in-between snack, or you have it just by itself, it's going to raise your blood sugar levels really quickly. Again, more insulin will be produced. Again, it will crash. And that's why when people say we have low blood sugar, we need to have a chocolate. And these are just random people who have nothing to do with their sugar problems, okay? They eat it and they're like, see, we got our energy. But most of the cases, not famished at all. What has caused is a huge spike before and it's crashed, and that's why you're feeling weak.
Correct.
But you do have enough glycogen in your storage room. You have enough glucose roaming around. It's not like it's not. It's just the rise and fall which has caused that feeling that you're famished. So it's very important to follow this routine. Now, obviously, if you're eating, for example, a bowl of cereals. Now, how do you do this? Obviously, you add some form of full fat milk or your almond milk or your nut milk over oats milk. Now, oats milk is full carbs. And that's why I tell anyone who's vegan, don't have oats milk, have almond walnut milk. Because again, there has fats, it'll maintain your blood sugar level. You load it with fruits, you load it with nuts and seeds, and you have a dish which you can still consume and your blood sugar levels are more stable. It's like you're putting clothes on your carbs, So
I like that. Clothes on your carbs. You're
yeah,
like,
it's not my line though. As I said, I'm a big follower of the speaker called Jessie, and her whole theory is based on how to put clothes on your carbs,
dress them up.
Yeah, dress them up. You always have to dress up your carbs, right? So it's very simple. Like today morning I had, I don't eat bread anymore. Substituted with Rice Crisp cakes, which are obviously also create a blood sugar levels to rise, but it has nothing else but rice puffs in it.
Correct.
I know that much at least. So I have that. I put an avocado. I put a full boiled egg over it. So I covered my entire carb with it, You can't always break it with vegetable, protein, fat, and then have it, because certain dishes are, as a full dish, you can't do it.
Correct.
So when you go to a restaurant, for example, you're calling a pasta. Again, you can have a bowl of greens and then have your pasta, So again, you've created a mesh even though the protein, fat are not really there in the middle of it. So creating the mesh is the most essential factor. Okay, that's one of my biggest hacks to do. And I eat a lot of vegetables. I think my diets are also designed by clients are like, we are not cows, But I said, eat them because it has vitamins, it has minerals. It is because we're so obsessed with protein, we don't look into that part.
Correct.
To have good skin, good hair, you need to eat your damn vegetables.
Absolutely.
So eat it, I'm obsessed with the whole concept of eating a lot of veggies. If you see my plate, you'll be like, what's wrong with her? But yeah, it is what it is. Okay.
Moo. Huh.
Yeah. Second hack is, which I love to do, and I again give all my clients who come to me, is walk after your meal for 15 minutes. So within consuming your meal, within the first 60 to 70 minutes, you should move your body. Okay. Now the theory is very simple. You need insulin, right, in order to take the blood glucose levels to different parts of your body, right? When you just start moving your muscles, you don't need insulin because the contraction movement gives you, the glucose comes there, right? So always moving for like 15-20 minutes post a meal will definitely blunt your blood sugar levels to rise. So again, that's a great hack to do, to walk 15 minutes or 20 minutes post your meal. There are people who are crazy also who after 25 minutes of eating will do like 50 squats next to the TV. But that's over obsession. It's like you can't do that really in practical world.
Correct.
So walking is good. It'll help, and you can do it after eating 15-20 minutes later. You can actually move your body or just move around, do things in your house. It will automatically, you'll see even your glucose monitor, your blood sugar levels will start rising much more slowly than it was previously with eating a healthy meal and not moving your body. But you know how we eat, we watch Netflix and then we go to sleep. So the problem is just not eating healthy, but moving your body after that. So 15 minutes, that's all you need.
Lovely.
Okay, that's the next hack you can do. The next hack is if you're having, now a lot of people will contradict this with me, I'm sure, is to have vinegar 30 minutes before eating your meal. Okay. Now there are biased reviews on things like that where they say it's of no use an apple cider vinegar. But if you actually get a good quality one and actually check it now, you do have a glucose monitor to check these hacks, right? So if you do take a tablespoon in a tall glass and have it with a straw, obviously, and then you eat your dessert or you eat your meal. For example, now you have to eat a pasta and there's no salad. If you do that part and then eat it, you will see that blood sugar levels do rise slowly. Okay. Now, so this is another hack, okay, which I feel is usually works before dessert. So for example, you're greedy for a dessert and you don't want to go through the whole process of eating a full meal and then eat a dessert. And you just want to eat it around 4 p.m., which is middle of nowhere.
Correct. This is a good idea.
Yeah, but obviously this is a hack where quantity plays a key role as well.
Correct.
You can't eat an entire brownie with 2 scoops of ice cream and expect that there'll be no spike.
Pour some apple cider vinegar.
Yeah, just because she said you can have apple cider vinegar, your quantity will also play a key role in this aspect, because today we don't eat dessert as a dessert. We eat it as a meal, post a meal also.
Correct.
Okay, we're not eating a small bite, right, anymore. So obviously that will also matter, your portion control. So this is my other hack. Then there are these small things that you can do in order to maintain your blood sugar levels. One of them is, as I said, you can walk, you can do all of this. But there are certain foods, though they look blunt, that don't mean they're healthy. Like your alcohol will not show in your blood sugar levels, but doesn't mean alcohol is a healthy thing to have.
Yeah, blood sugar is not the only parameter.
Yeah, it's not the only, it is one of the parameters. Let me make it very clear. And all these hacks will only work on people. It also depends on your muscle mass. It depends how well you sleep. It depends what certain health condition you are currently in. It's not just something you can, assume that she's given these 4-5 hacks to us and, it will work. It obviously, other parameters also play a very important role.
Correct.
It's like a deficiency of B12 will not process your carbs that well, right? So it may just change the whole game, So there are other parameters, but this is a basic healthy way of eating and living, where you eat something which is more related with a lot of fiber in it. So it creates a mesh. Second, you walk, which is, again, it's a good thing to do, right?
Absolutely.
It's something that we know, but we just don't do it. Like Indian culture, the concept is 100 steps post-eating, which nobody does it. But it's been there in our culture. It's not a new thing, Apple cider vinegar, which is an excellent hack. Again, obviously, your portion control matters. So I'm clearing this because I don't want just people to start doing this and then eating unlimited and expecting ki Shito said those hacks were there. But it's not that simple, You have to follow these hacks along with eating to some extent, right?
And these are fantastic habits to compound. You add together and they compound over time.
Yeah,
right?
of
As
course.
you also get onto your fitness journey, as you start becoming healthier, their output will be better.
Yeah, and the biggest hack is put clothes on your carbs. That's the biggest hack you can do. Never eat a carb by itself, right? Because the minute you do that, it's done.
Yeah.
Okay? Then there is something, start your day always with a savory breakfast and not a sweet breakfast.
Lovely.
Again, the logic is simple, because your blood sugar levels will rise and it'll fall and you'll be hungry full day and you'll only crave for carbs then. And again, I said carbs are just not sugar, it's starch as well. It's also fiber, which is nobody craves for it ever. So it's going to be starch and sugar only.
Except for our gut bacteria. So.
Yeah, nobody wants
Which
like, chalo, I'm dreaming of fiber in my body. I'm thinking of broccoli in my dream. Nobody does that. So always start your day with something savory, so your blood sugar levels are more stable. I often do this personally myself and tell my clients, start your day with fat first. So that is basically coconut oil, ghee, nuts, avocado, coconut chunks. Those are things you start your day with rather than a date. Because that will spike your blood sugar and crash it. And especially in the morning.
Correct.
So start something with fat. It'll stabilize your blood sugar levels. Your breakfast should be not pancakes with maple syrup, which is a standard way promoted, especially among kids. Unfortunately, we are giving our children all of this.
In fact, that's an important one. We keep saying that bacche ke liye chalega.
Exactly. But you also have the same thing going on. They have pancreas as well. There's blood sugar levels going to rise. Yeah. The only difference, children, I don't agree with this anymore. They say children move much more, but a lot of children are not moving much more anymore.
Move at all.
I mean, in my building, I don't see any child playing only down.
Yeah.
And we have a pool and a garden. And I don't see any kid.
No.
Because they're always in their iPads now.
Correct.
That's the way they're living.
In fact, in the UK, there was a big issue saying that the highest number of fatty liver issues were coming up with the kids now. And fatty liver is the same thing that happens with alcoholics as well. Right?
Exactly.
Liver cirrhosis and all of that was taking place amongst children.
Yeah.
It's because of...
Again, non-alcoholic fatty liver is more popular now than alcoholic fatty liver, you know, and earlier that concept didn't exist really. Very few had that and they say, alcohol hi karta hai ye. But non-alcoholic have it more, again, because your blood sugar levels are not stable. There's too much fructose rotating in your body, which is causing a lot of health issues in your liver.
Correct.
As you said, because everything has to be broken down in your liver. And your liver can't process things like this. You know,
you have a child. How do you maintain her blood sugar level? What?
So my child, luckily, I never exposed her to instant noodles. And it's not something she craves. See, unfortunately, we don't realize we are the ones who create these habits in our children. And then when they grow older, we blame ki, why are you having? I remember visiting my pediatrician and middle of my appointment, some woman just randomly walked in and she said ki baby's eating too much chocolate. He's like, chocolate khareedta kaun hai par? And then she just walked away because she didn't know what to say. So we have started to reward our children with high carb, sugary meals if they do something good.
Correct.
So for our child, getting something that is actually, they have won something, they have achieved something.
Yeah.
And we have put that psychic since they were kids. And then we blame that why are they obese, why are they eating wrong. But we had the control. We went to the market and bought that.
Absolutely.
So for my child, I basically don't keep any of those things. You'll never see biscuits in my house. You'll never see instant noodle because for that, accessible, right?
I have an instant noodle story. So my friend's 5-year-old has never been exposed to instant noodles. Another kid comes home saying Maggie, you know, like instant noodles, instant noodles, instant noodles. So we get it and we give it to this 5-year-old child. She takes one bite and says, gee, this is what you all were jumping around for.
So
it's like so interesting.
Unfortunately, I don't like Maggie, which people find very shocking actually. I never liked it since a child. I don't know. Though I was a fat kid, I was not a healthy kid since I was born. But I never liked Maggie. But my daughter tasted Maggie in someone else's house and she couldn't believe what amazing taste it was. You know, right? All processed food, especially in US, there are scientists who are sitting and making it perfect combination of sugar and salt.
Yeah.
So the dopamine effect of your brain gets affected and you keep craving for this. It's actually a proper study on this.
Correct.
So the thing is, these instant noodles you crave, no one can eat just one, is simply done because the sugar and salt content is so well matched together. The crunch is created so properly for your brain to get the dopamine effect going. And that's the reason why we cannot stop. Who eats 20 broccolis? Nobody will touch. But open a packet of chips and 20 chips are over in a second. Why? Because they were designed for you to overeat. They were never designed for you to have one piece of it. And the constant ads, the constant on your face. And now the ads have become just, it's healthy. And I'm like, how is it healthy to eat any of this?
How is it healthy?
10% less salt, so healthy ho gaya. But what about the 110% salt that you've actually put in? So 120, you just made it 110. Anyways, going to the hack, there was another hack which I did not mention. One is, if you're hungry in between, have a savory snack and not a sweet snack. Again, the logic is very simple because blood sugar levels will rise too much. And with this hack is never have a liquid as a filler. So I always tell my clients, don't have a cold coffee without sugar because they forget milk, unfortunately, also has it, but nobody talks about it. So whenever you have anything that's liquid, it's high in calories or high in sugar, it'll again spike your blood sugar levels. It'll never fill you up. And again, within half an hour, you'll be eating something. I mean, now I went to London recently and the new rule is they have to put calories in all the menus. And I wish every client of mine can read that because nobody understands. They think the burger, because they'll put it on the app in Bombay, shows 300 calories. But actually that same burger is kept and now they've counted because they have to be super accurate out there. It's 750 calories.
Wow.
So you can imagine what we're doing with the calories in and out in our mind. The concept is going on. But there's so many other factors. Our calorie counting is wrong. Our calorie burnt is overestimated. Okay, we always watch is saying 800 calories. Aaj to khaunge hai. Time to 2 fries to have. But we actually not really burn that. It's probably 30% inaccurate.
Correct.
We are underestimating our calories. Blood sugar level concept is only out of whack. They're like, wo to pata hi nahi kya ho raha hai uske bare mein. So we have this misconception running around what being healthy is. And I think someone needed to talk about it because I don't think I've come across anyone in India talking too much about blood sugar levels. I think I'm the only one who keeps talking about it to random people and they're like, what's wrong with this girl? But I think it's such a concept that we need to figure diets. So even my clients tell Neha, what are the macros? I said, please don't worry about that part. See how stable your blood sugar level. Come back and tell me how you're feeling.
Correct.
I want to know that in my second consultation. Not that weight kitna hi kam hua hai. You know, let's talk about the other factors that you feel. And when my client actually enters and says, Neha, let's not check the weight, I'm feeling great. I don't know, what have you done? I'm feeling light, bloated with energy. I get so happy. I think those people become my favorite clients. I become partial to them then.
I love it. Throw away your wing scale. Right?
Yeah.
Probably get a glucometer instead.
You know what the problem with glucomonitor also, though a lot of people are now promoting it and it's considered, but there's a level you can do it. It kind of gets quite obsessive to keep like putting your phone next to it and keep checking it all the time. I think nothing should be an obsession. Okay, we're living a life which we need to enjoy, and having a bit of food should not be a perpetual monitoring. I don't like that. So when my clients say, can we put our food in a food diary? I'm like, you're not a child. You will know when you've eaten wrong. And again, our nutrition teaches us that you should maintain a food journal, write everything. But how is that healthy? Imagine you eat every time and you're like, 1 cup dal, 2 broccolis. I mean, come on. Like, why do you have to go through that in your life? Are you such a small child that you do write this all down? And they get shocked because other nutritionists make them write. And I keep saying, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
That's my theory. Because if someone told me to do this, I would look at my food as torture. And then imagine recalling that torture and writing it down. And if you've forgotten, you're stressed. Oh God, what will she tell me? I forgot this part. It's not possible.
Not possible. And you're just adding more stress. Like you said, what's the
and
point?
And then stress will also raise your sugar
Yeah.
levels. You'll get confused in the body. You'll crave for more food. So it's such a vicious circle. Why can't we just look at food? Like even my clients say, I say when you eat something, your body doesn't see you have eaten grilled chicken. What your body sees are amino acids.
Correct.
When it's broken down that, your body is not seeing. So when you take any form of sugar also, it is in the end of the day, your body sees sugar, which will raise the glucose. Your body is not going to see that, it's come from coconut. Oh, lovely. It's come from this part, that part. It's not that. It's nothing got to do with that. It's got to do with the molecules that your body consumes and how your body reacts to it.
Absolutely. Fascinating thing is that the body has 4 hormones to raise your blood sugar, but only 1 to drop it down.
Only insulin.
Only insulin to drop it down. But
Exactly.
like cortisol will increase it, adrenaline will increase it, glucagon will increase it. So all these things are increasing it, but there's only 1 that will drop it down. So why add to this increasing thing that's happening?
Yeah, but that's the thing now. It's not a knowledge that a layman knows. Now today it's very easy for me to say all this because I'm curious about it firstly. I've studied it and it's my profession. But for a lot of people, they're like, Arey yaar, what is she saying? It's so irritating. Put clothes on your carbs. What does she even mean, this fool, But the thing is, it's required today because, as I said, I think too many people are falling sick. I think you don't come across anyone lately above 30 who doesn't have no health issue.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I think every second person is there or they're not aware that they have it still.
Correct.
So I think it's high time that we look into beyond calories in and out. We look into, and I get very upset when I see, people putting it out there, 1200 calories, just having a glucose biscuit now, and I'm like, Parle G, my cheat day. And I'm like, it's not making sense what you're doing. It's not calories in and out, but I'm not here to teach the whole world and correct them because it's no point. Who want to listen will listen to me and will do something about this.
No, learning about sugar, understanding sugar is a fantastic trip, and I really encourage everyone to be doing this.
Yeah, and these artificial sugars are a new thing that's come up. Everyone wants to use these artificial, though obviously stevia is backed with good research, I would say. But again, stevia, if you get good quality pure stevia, it's a miracle now. Erythritol has been studied. But again, all artificial sweeteners create digestive issues. They change your gut microbe. So what has happened is I see these ads, jalebi khao sugar free mein diabetes ko theek kar do. But you're not actually really doing that. You're not curing diabetes. What you're doing is changing a gut microbe. You're starting another whole issue out here. The reason why you have diabetes is because you ate an unhealthy lifestyle or too much carbs. But you're not stopping that. So you're taking glycomed and you're having unlimited sugar free. So where is the cure? You're just putting a bandage.
Yeah.
That's
You
it.
need to learn how to manage it, learn how to change your lifestyle. Only then does it
Of
really
course,
make sense.
there's no
to-
other way, right? Especially if you have a comorbidity, the only way it can happen is, obviously people do require medication. I'm not saying they don't. But lifestyle change is a key factor to get off the medication eventually. You
Absolutely.
can't take it whole life, yeah.
Absolutely.
Liver is taking even that, along with fructose.
I'm so happy you came and had this discussion with us about blood sugar, and I think clearly your passion for this blood sugar came out in the podcast. Neha, how can people get in touch with you? Where can people continue this conversation with you?
So if they're more interested, I've written and spoken about a lot of hacks on my Instagram, which is @Neha Sahaya.
Neha Sahaya, all these Instagram posts about blood sugar management and all of that are going to be
Yeah,
there.
I keep putting it up.
Fantastic. Thank you, Neha, for coming on the
Thank you
Habit
for
Coach
having
podcast.
me.
Yay. Now, if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are @IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am at Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. We have a brand new habit coaching online course, quizzes, videos, and a lot more on the website awesome180.com. So check it out now.